So Yasala says in a very clear and loud voice, he says, I, Yasala the Ganov, I made many sins, and I did very, very horrible sins, but to give up my Yiddishkeit, give up my Judaism, Yasala the Ganov will not do that, even if they give him the worst afflictions in the world, even if they give him the biggest. Everybody, this story is called Haganav HaKadosh, the Holy Thief. So, near the caver, near the resting place of the Shpole, there was another matzeva. He made a big kiddush Hashem in the days of the Shpole, and everyone called this caver the resting place, the burial of Yasala, the holy thief Yasala. It's a very strange thing, right? So why would you call someone who's a thief holy? Either he's a thief or he's holy. He can't be both. So there was a chassid, his name was Shpole Veltz, from the town Scully, and he says he wrote a memoir, and he wrote that at some point he went to Russia and visited the town of Shpole, and he went to the oldest people in the town to ask about this place, this burial place. And this is what they tell him: the Shpole Zayde was uncharacteristically close with thieves. They were like part of his chevra. He was very nice to them for whatever reason. No one understood why. And anytime someone was caught and they were in jail, he would go and bring them food and drink and give them whatever they need. And he would kind of brag about his ganavim. He would call them, my thieves. And you would even hear him say sometimes, Hashem, look at my thieves. Even the smallest one amongst them, meaning even the one who's supposedly the lowest of them, has so many good things, has so many good character traits. So one time in Rosh Hashanah, after davening, he told his Shpole Zayde, one time after davening in Rosh Hashanah, he told his congregation that Shemona Esrei, he had a very, very hard time because he saw that there was a lot of accusations against the Jewish people, and there was something holding back their prayers from going up to Hashem. And he had he had a lot of pain from this, and he started to look for ways that he could get in, that he could break the barrier, because so far he couldn't find any entry. And then he said, I remembered about my ganavim, that they, for whatever reason, are capable of breaking even the strongest locks, right? So right away I called them, and they came and they broke all the locks and they destroyed the wall, and there was a great light, and Hashem Kaviyachol stood up from the Kisei Yadin and he got up, moved from the Kisei Yadin, from the chair of judgment, and went to the chair of Racham, to the chair of mercy, and all of the merciful angels brought the davening of all the Yidden before Hashem, and all the prayers were accepted. Now, obviously this is stuff that going on in the higher realms we don't understand. These are holier things that we could grasp. And they had a very good year. So afterwards, he said, after him telling the callers, he says, "Look, what do you say about my thieves? Look how great they are." Now, so here's the story of Yasala Ganov. One time, they wanted to get a really, really big catch. They wanted to get some serious loot, silver, gold, precious gems. And where did they want to get it from? They wanted to get it from the church. Yeah? And it was a very, very high building, made out of stone, and it was in the middle of the town, center of town. And they had no way of getting in, except through a very, very high window that was all the way at the top. And there was one of the ganavim there who was very young, who was not so tall, and he was very agile and nimble. And he climbed the wall. He was very good at climbing, an expert climber. His name was Yasala Ganov. So now the ganavim, these thieves, whenever they had to go into a place that was very, very small, or some were very tall, they sent Yasala Ganov to get the stuff out, because he was really good at that. And so they said, we're going to send Yasala. And this place was tall and small, so they really needed him. Now, so at midnight, at the end of the month, so basically when the moon is basically not there, at midnight, all the thieves came around the church, and Yasala climbed very quickly. He went to the top of the building, and he broke into the small window, and he got through that inside the church, went down, got all the all the crosses and all the jewelry that they had over there. He put it all in cloth that was already, the tablecloths that were already there on the tables, and he got ready to go back up through the same place where he came in. From that window already there was, right, there was a place to walk, stairs to walk from there. The only issue was getting up there, but coming back up was very easy, and coming back down, you have to come back down, right? So he went back to the window, and all of a sudden at that point, when he's getting ready, the guards of the city see the thieves standing behind this church. He started to yell at them, and they ran away. Yosela comes up, and he didn't know that what happened outside. He didn't know what happened. And so he puts his head outside, and he has all these, these packages of goods, dragging behind him also. And he made like a sound to his friends Ganovim to let him know that he's done, that they should take the packages, and that to help him come down so he shouldn't get hurt. And Yosel is, he's yelling, and he doesn't hear any answer. And meanwhile, the guards see that there's a guy over there at the top, and he's saying things that they can't understand. So they right away surround the church, and they let the priest know, let the galach know. Now already a lot of non-Jews came around to see what's going on, and they opened it up, and they saw that all of the jewelry is gone because Yosela had it all, right? And so they turned on the light, and they saw that Yosela is stuck on the top over there, and he has all these packages with him. So what do? They take him and they throw him in jail until the day of the trial. So the day of the trial comes, and they bring Yosela before the judges, and his taina is, he says like this.
You want to know what Rabbi say?
Yeah, this is what he says. When I started this whole endeavor, all I really wanted to do was to test your God, right? You serve him. I was like, listen, I didn't want to do it in front of anybody else. I'm a Jew, but I wanted to see if I can get some parnasa, to daven to get some parnasa, because I need to feed my wife and my kids. And then I'll know that he's taka, a real deity, a real power. And then I can serve him for the rest of my life. But I came once, twice, 3 times. Nothing happened. Didn't even answer me. He can't talk. His eyes don't see. His ears don't hear. And so I got very angry. And so I said, "You're a fraud. You're making everybody. How do you say? You're misleading all these people to serve you, and you have nothing. I'll take you with me. I'll sell you for a lot of gold. Sorry, I'll sell your gold pieces, and at least I'll have a parnasa, and I'll be able to feed my wife and kids." So I started, Yosela says, to move it from its place, and I saw that the hands and feet are not moving, and they're not protecting themselves. And I understood that all the smaller getchkes, all the smaller items of that don't do anything, all the other things also won't fight me. So I took them all, and I took all the things that were decorating them, and they didn't say anything to me. And so Yosela finishes and says, "I did you a favor. You should know you shouldn't serve these things because they don't work. And now I did you a very big favor. Now you're not going to make this mistake for the rest of your life." So right away they sentenced him to death through public burning, and that it should happen in front of the church, in front of a cheering crowd. And they gave over the sentence in writing. And the judges said, "You still have a way to save yourself from death. Because you're very young, and we see that you're a very talented fellow, we can let you live on the condition that you change your religion, become part of us, renounce your Judaism, and not only that, we'll make you rich." So Yosela says in a very clear and loud voice, he says, "I, Yosela Ganov, I made many sins, and I did very, very horrible sins. But to give up my Yiddishkeit, give up my Judaism, Yosela Ganov will not do that, even if they give him the worst afflictions in the world, even if they give him the biggest, even if they torture him, the worst tortures." So Yosela, and he added, "You guys are crazy. You guys are loco, right? Who would give up a living God for pieces of stone that they're made by man, and it couldn't even save itself?" And he said again, Yosela is a ganav. Yosela Ganav is taka ganav. He really is a thief, and he has many sins. To become a guy, to renounce my faith, sorry, ain't gonna happen. So, and they took Yosela, put him back in jail, and when the day came to burn him, many people came to the front of the church, and they took a very, very big jar full of tar, and they lit it on fire, and they put Yosela right next to this flaming jar. And the Galach, the priest, turns to Yosela and says again, you still have a choice to save yourself from this unimaginable death. Just give up your faith. And if not, we're going to put you in there, you're going to get burnt alive. So Yosela answers very loud again. He says, Yosela Ganev, Taka Ganev, I am Yosela Ganev. I really am a thief, but I will never give up my faith. And so they took Yosela's hands, and they stuck them inside the fire, inside this jug, and they started to get burnt. And the pain was unimaginable. And again, the priest turns to him and says, you still have a chance. If you renounce your faith, we have expert doctors that will heal your hands. And you'll still live a very good life. And Yosela is already dancing from the pain. He can't, and they're holding his hands, and he can't, they have to hold him down. And he continues with a very loud voice, Yosela Ganav will be burnt by fire, he'll have the worst torture in the world, but he will not he will not renounce his faith. And he went yelling like this all the way until his neshama left his body. And when the Goyim realized that his neshama left, they gave him to the end that they should bury him. And that's the story. That's the person who's buried next to the Shpole Zayda. And they call him until today the Holy Yosela Ganav, the Holy Thief Yosela. And yeah. And on his matzeva, on his tombstone, it's etched exactly what time and what day he did this massive Kiddush Hashem. He sanctified Hashem's name in public. And the Shpole Zayda, when he would say after the story, he would say, you see, it's not for nothing that I praise my thieves. I praise my Ganavim. So this is a bittersweet story, but it shows the burning fire that we all have that never can get put out. And may we be able to live al Kiddush Hashem, not to die al Kiddush Hashem, and live our every single day by sanctifying Hashem's name until the time when Mashiach comes. Thank you everybody for watching. Beautiful, beautiful Yom Tov, and love you guys. Subscribe.
The seltzers in the pan?